And we're watching that next round of moisture that's moving in. When I say next round, some places got a little bit of a break south and west of the city and on the south side with that little dry slot that we see down to the south moving over to the east. So some areas of breaks in the precip coming down, but now all of metro Atlanta getting filled back in with some of the mixture that's moving in. Not particularly anything heavy, but it is some rain and some sleet mixing in and some freezing rain. The freezing rain, it happens when those temperatures at the surface are at or below freezing. The sleet would be those ice pellets that are coming down from the sky. So we've got that mixing here. Rain even extending up a little bit into parts of Rome, Bartow County, and into areas of Gordon County as well. So the trend is that as we were all covered up in snow this morning, we've been watching the snow line move more up to the north. Still a pretty persistent area of snow there in parts of North Georgia, but you can see how that mix is extending more up to the north now, and that's going to be the story for the rest of the night as more of this moisture is going to be feeding in here during the evening hours tonight, and then finally tapering off a little later on. We still have this moisture back into Alabama, where it's mainly rain in Alabama now. Still parts of northeast Alabama seeing some of that mix, but this rain is going to keep moving in, and again, liquid precip in the air, but when it comes down and hits a temperature at freezing at the surface, that's what can make some of the freezing rain that we are going to be seeing here, as right now those temperatures are hovering right around the freezing mark. Here's a live look in Athens. You can see here, not only is North Campus there, the grassy area all white right now with all the snow, the white roofs that we have looking towards Sanford Stadium, everything looking nice and snowy there. But you can see here on the camera, this looks more like it's some rain and maybe a little bit of sleet coming down right now, still with that precip up in the Athens area. Also, I want to show you what we're watching right now at the airport. Now, we were telling you earlier about the ground stop, and we were hearing that it was supposed to end at 2 o'clock. Earlier, we weren't seeing any planes moving there along the runways or taxiways. We now see some planes that are taxiing. I saw a couple of those moving just a moment ago. So we might be getting a little bit of movement right now at Hartsfield-Jackson, but still it's going to be slow to get things back to normal, and it'll be a long time. We had a lot of flights that were canceled earlier today out at Hartsfield-Jackson. So here is what we're watching with that weather impact alert that is going to stay with us here for the rest of the evening hours and through the day tomorrow. The winter storm conditions, we're not just tracking them, anticipating them coming. The winter storm conditions are with us right now, and we'll be watching that transition from snow to winter mix. That has already happened in most areas. We'll see icing concerns from now through the evening hours, and we'll concentrate on that being possibly a little more significant north and east of the city, and then travel impacts will remain likely during the evening hours and overnight, and even early tomorrow morning some travel issues are possible. Right now though, these temperatures, very important. We're still a degree above freezing in Atlanta, but it is freezing in Peachtree City and Covington. 37 though in LaGrange, just below freezing in Carrollton. Marietta's 34. We have freezing in Duluth and Athens, below freezing in Canton and Gainesville. I'm seeing some good signs earlier in Gainesville. We were in the 20s. Now it's at 30 degrees, but still it's below below freezing. And it's this northeast quadrant here where we're going to see that wedge of cool air. And as that additional moisture moves in, that's where we might see more of that significant icing. This is our ice potential for the late night hours tonight. And we're concentrating mainly on that potential for maybe 1/4 of an inch of ice in those areas north and east of the city. And that's where I think that's going to be a little more widespread as that rain moves into that wedge of colder air at the surface. And here is a look at what those ice accumulation impacts are going to be looking like. If you get 1/4 of an inch of ice, that's where, of course, you have the icy roads. You see the ice that'll be kind of covering up those tree limbs there, could make them sag and break. And if that happens, that could hit a power line and cause some power outages. If you have a 1/2 inch ice thickness, that makes it even worse out there with even more widespread tree limbs down and power lines down, and maybe even some long-term power outages possible with that. We hope we don't get up to a 1/2 inch of ice accumulation in those areas, but something we'll be watching, but maybe around 1/4 of an inch in some spots. Here's that mix. There we are at 2 o'clock this afternoon. the mix that is over us now, still a little bit of that snow to the north. That pretty much changes into an all-winter mix once we get to the 4 o'clock hour. And then the good news is that once we get this next wave of rain through here, it's going to start tapering off this evening. It won't end immediately. It'll be just a few scattered areas of precip here during the evening hours tonight. But there you see that northwest flow, clouds in the morning, nothing new falling from the sky early tomorrow morning. However, we will have whatever is left on the ground tomorrow morning with temperatures that are going to be below freezing again. There will be some slick spots continuing into tomorrow morning. We'll see some sunshine breaking through later in the day tomorrow, which will hopefully help us out a little bit with getting rid of some of that ice or anything that's left behind. And temperatures will also be a little bit above the freezing mark.